how many of these service or operation and technology entities we have, who's employed by what entity and why, things that in an ongoing business, when everything's working, are low priority issues to resolve, but that are critically important to facilitate a resolution. So it's been, for us at least, and I think for the others, it's been really embedded into the financial and planning operation. I mean, very few major discussions about what we're going to do, how we're going to structure, how many bonds, what kind of debt we're going to issue. I mean, those kinds of questions. One of the issues in every one of those discussions is, what is the impact on resolution? What are the regulators going to expect in terms of the resolution issues? Finally, there's also been a lot of criticism, as one regulator, not from the FDIC, said to me, 3,000-page document is not a plan, and plan can't be more than 10 pages. That may be true, may not be true. I don't know. The 3,000 pages, as Rick said, contain a tremendous amount of information of enormous value to the regulators and to the company if we ever get into the resolution situation. And as Dwight Eisenhower said about D-Day, plans are nothing, planning is everything. And I think that's applicable here.
You can imagine, Michael, if you had only submitted a 10-page plan, what the response from the regulators would have been, right?
I'm sure they would have found it credible.
Okay, thank you. Well, maybe moving along to Anna, I thought you had some interesting comments. Sometimes the penetrating glimpse of the obvious is the most important one. Why, in essence, why did we think we were invulnerable, that these kind of things couldn't happen in the U.S. and should have known that it was certainly a possibility. I guess maybe the question, maybe this is most appropriate from you from a policy perspective. I mean, the title of the panel is Globally Systemically Important Banks, Too Big and Too International to Regulate. What do you think? Are global, what have been called G-SIFIs, are G-SIFIs too big and international to regulate? What have we, internationally and on a global basis, what have we done? Have we created something that's not fixable, or is it fixable?
Well, thank you for that small question, Jared. I appreciate that. Let's break up too big and too global, right? I think that, my priors are that you're not going to stop cross-border capital flows. And it's not obvious to me that institutional expansion is worse than any other kind of expansion, right? So, having contracts go across borders versus having institutions establish across borders, I'm not sure one of the institutional model of expansion is necessarily worse, and therefore we should stop it, right? I do think, as Rick mentioned, that this raises the very kinds of enormous challenges that we've dealt with in the international system since Westphalia, right? I mean, you have sovereigns, you can't make them do things. On the other hand, I think that there are pragmatic things you can do to make the system more resilient that are also more credible, and crucially that don't result in complete fragmentation, right? So that I am in particular quite worried about host countries, both what they can do for their own